Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday through Thursday and sometimes Fridays, like today. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand, Centennial World. Welcome back to Mini Scroll, everyone. All right, a Friday mini for you guys, as well as a Friday deep dive. Although the deep dive is like a little bit different. You guys might have already seen it, but it's an interview as opposed to a video essay. I know some of you guys love an interview. I know some of you guys don't. So we're bringing you a casual mini scroll as well. Okay, so let's get into the stories for today. Oh, please rate, review, and subscribe. Subscribe to our newsletter. Please star rate us on Spotify, okay? Our Spotify star ratings, after I stopped asking for them, have gone down. Well, they haven't gone down, but like they haven't gone up. They've gone down. They haven't gone down. People have just stopped rating us because I stopped asking for it. So please, Spotify star rate us or leave us a review on Apple or, I don't know, subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to our newsletter. Annabelle will be very happy that I remembered to remind you guys. All right. So the first story that I have for you guys today is that YouTube is making a play to host the Oscars. This is industry tea. So, for almost 5 decades, the Academy Awards, also known as the Oscars, have been aired on ABC, which is owned, I guess, by Disney. I didn't know that. I don't know. Walt Disney, ABC. The contract is up for that in 2028. So, the Academy is entering into negotiations, and YouTube is apparently bidding for the rights. According to Bloomberg, quote, the Google-owned video site has inquired about buying the rights to the Academy Awards, according to 2 people familiar with the matter. Okay, so even though this statement basically just says that YouTube wants to buy the broadcast rights for the Oscars, not necessarily that they're like a contender or like in negotiations yet, some industry insiders seem to think that the Academy will definitely take YouTube's interest very seriously because moving the show to YouTube would cause so much noise. And that's kind of the point, right? Like that would be a good thing for the struggling format of award shows. It would show that the Academy cares about young viewers, it cares about younger audiences, and kind of like this new media boom and the direction, I guess, in general of media towards new media. So, I mean, I don't have to tell you guys about how award shows have lost such relevancy over the past, even just like 5 years, like definitely decade. But I'm going to say the pandemic really impacted our interest in award shows. So Bloomberg continues, quote, YouTube is the single most watched video platform in the world and the king of all media. It could deliver eyeballs and offer a giant global platform. That being said, a lot of the other bidders can offer both broadcast and streaming, like NBC Universal and Amazon, so I don't know. We'll see. But that is very interesting to me that YouTube is bidding to host the Oscars. That's tea. Okay, the next story that I have for you guys, I'm sure this has been on some of your guys' For You page, but a Mac employee at LAX was allegedly fired for vlogging her day in the life content. A creator named Bree recently blew up for her day in the life vlogs working as a store manager at MAC Cosmetics at the LAX airport. She would vlog timestamps of her day, but they were incredibly detailed. So she would vlog like arriving at work, showing exactly how airport employees get through the airport. She would show the exact sequence of how she opens and closes the store, including where in that sequence she's counting the money, transferring money from a safe to the register and back, all the behind the scenes of like the counter process, like literally everything. And this detail is certainly part of the reason why she blew up, right? Because it's really like taking you behind the scenes of someone's job in a way that if you had not had a job at an airport or in a retail environment like Mac, you know, you'd have no idea what a day in that life looks like. But now in her most recent vlog, she posted that she was fired from this job. So it started off as like a regular vlog. She was time stamping her morning. It seemed like a totally regular day from her vlog. And then at 11 a.m., she vlogged a clip of herself sobbing, carrying all of her stuff out, saying she got fired. And she confirmed that happened in the comments. So we are starting to see more consequences of the kind of boom or like interest in like regular quote unquote workplace content. Like workplace content is so popular right now. And I think if you're removed from content creation, the concept of like workplace content being on the rise and like filming a day in the life at work, like that kind of seems insane. But I do know from firsthand experience, like for me, posting about the founder journey, for example, like I know how challenging it can be to sometimes figure out like where the line is because you get so much positive reinforcement when you are posting content like this. Like you get positive reinforcement from comments, from DMs of people being like, oh my God, your content helps me so much. You're helping me navigate this journey. You get obviously views, followers, like all of that is both directly and also like indirectly, subconsciously telling you that putting out more and more transparent content is a good thing and that this is going to lead to positive consequences for you. But in this particular instance, the biggest problem is that she was vlogging things that could put her actual physical safety, the safety of the other staff, and, the safety of the store in general in danger. Like I said, she's vlogging the exact times when she's transferring like giant wads of cash. She's also flashing her employee like TSA badge to like get through TSA. She's like flashing that badge, which I assume has like some type of confidential information. So she was just showing like way too much. And I am absolutely a huge advocate for workplaces allowing their employees to have social media side hustles, to build personal brands on the side. Like that's a big point of friction in media specifically, at least in Australia. I have so many friends who work in media and they work for like big publishers and they're not allowed to have like a personal brand outside of their jobs because in the eyes of their employers, their likeness publicly is owned by the company or like they publicly represent the company because media is kind of more of like a high profile industry. And so the company that they write for or that they create content for feels like they own them like 24/7 and they can't post anything really like for their own personal brand. And I don't agree with that. Like I think if your likeness is quote unquote owned by your company, then you should be compensated for that. And I can tell you that media is not compensating anyone for that. So yeah, like I think if you're not fairly compensated for that, then that shouldn't necessarily be the case. And I think in general, like the world has changed so much. And if someone wants to build a personal brand for themselves to open career opportunities, like I don't think that workplaces should necessarily have a say in that. However, I think if you are vlogging at the workplace, using that workplace as part of your personal brand, sharing confidential information about the business processes that could put the company and its employees in harm's way, like whether that's a competitor being able to gather information on your company from your content and the stuff that you're posting, or putting people in literal danger, like I said, Bree showing like when they're holding massive wads of cash walking around the airport day to day, then yeah, that is actually when an employer has every right to obviously step in. Like you have to have some discernment. Yes, this has really blown up. People have a lot of opinions online. Bree has made a statement on her comment section. She said, "Hey guys, I'll be coming out with a story time soon, but just want to make it clear, Mac did not have a say in this decision. This was a decision made by the airport. I'm still in great standing with the Mac brand and I'm exploring other possible Mac opportunities." I think that makes even more sense. Like, of course, in airport, security is like top priority there. So her vlogging day in the lives where again, like she is showing her TSA badge. Oh my God, there is a little fly, like a little baby fly, probably from this plant flying around. If you guys are watching this, I'm very sorry. It keeps like going in front of the camera. But yeah, these are just things that like we didn't even have to really think about. Like, I don't know, 5 years ago, like the average person could be vlogging their day to day and you could be a customer at a store and you have no idea that behind the counter, their phone is propped up and they are recording your entire interaction and that's going to end up on TikTok. Like there's all of these very interesting cultural things that have come out of TikTok, like not just the fact that it absolutely completely transformed what like internet culture means and how we source information and all of that, which is already like massive, massive change, but also how we function as people online, like how everybody now is a content creator and you just kind of have to anticipate that like anywhere you go, somebody could be making content for TikTok and you could be in it. All right, the last thing that I wanted to touch on today, it's not necessarily a story, but we've been seeing a concerning new trend online targeting young women. And so I did want to share a little bit about it. Okay, so like amid the kind of stay-at-home girlfriend, soft life, princess treatment, tradwife, anti-vax type content that is getting pushed constantly towards young women more and more online, there's this new emerging iteration that these types of creators are starting to push. And that is the idea that women don't need female friendships. So there's a concerning increase in videos online by creators who operate in these niches that I just mentioned, telling women that basically to like help balance it all and keep their priorities straight as they enter into, their long-term relationships, into their motherhood journey, it's natural and healthy to let your female friendships go. That female friendship is essentially like a phase of your life that is more immature. This messaging is really just to isolate women further, especially at such vulnerable stages of their lives, like pregnancy and motherhood, and, entering into lifelong partnerships and combining your finances with a man and all of these like major things that are being pushed by these women too, telling women to give up their financial control to men and to have a million babies for that man. And now telling them to not have friends, not female friends that they can talk to about anything. And it's completely false. Like, we should be pouring, we have so many young women that listen to this podcast, and I just feel very passionate about this, okay? We should be pouring so much more into our female friendships as we get older. Because in theory, as we age, life gets more complicated. Like the stakes get higher, and you need that support and that village from other women. Let me share an anecdote for you, okay? Mid last year, I went through like the worst time of my life. And a huge part of that was related to this legal situation that Centennial was dealing with. And because of how that whole legal situation went down, like I developed like mild temporary kind of PTSD because of it. And during that time, it was the women in my life and the women in their lives as well who got me through it. Like, I have a husband, I have a close relationship with my brother, I have a close relationship with my dad. I do have really good men in my life. But in that time of crisis, it was the women in my life who took action to help me rather than just kind of like giving me advice. I didn't have to ask for it. I feel like it's just so innately part of female friendship. Like telling, my different friends who live all over the world about what was happening to me, and immediately they would just like jump into action, okay? Like I had friends around the world who were reaching out to their network of women to get me the resources, the information, the help that I needed. Every single person, like lawyer, banker, associate, accountant, advisor that I spoke to during that time, those were all people that I was connected to through a female friendship. Sometimes multiple parts removed. Like at one point, I was sitting on the phone. I was sitting in Sydney, Australia, on the phone with a partner at a law firm downtown Toronto who I was connected to through my friend who lives in Portland, Oregon. And she reached out to her friend who is a lawyer at a law firm in Toronto. And her friend said to her boss, like, I need your help. You need to get on the phone with my friend of friend and give her some advice, and like, we need to work through this. And it's not just that tangible stuff that you get from female friendships. That support extends emotionally, mental health wise. One of my best friends, Crystal, like I know I can voice note her any time of the day in need of emotional support, and she will be there for me, and I hope she feels the same about me. And unlike what people say on TikTok, that is not using your friend as your therapist. Like, deep friendships are meant to weather these roller coasters. You are meant to be there to support your friends. And, I think as we age, like I said, the stakes get higher. Like, you need women to help you through the tough shit. Parents passing away, toxic relationships, financial problems, legal issues, massive career blows, infertility, motherhood in general. It's through female friendships that you will find your strength. So please do not listen to that propaganda that's just trying to keep us lonely and isolated so that we will stay more submissive. I can't believe I'm crying. It's through the strength of women in my life that have gotten me through the hardest times. And I don't want any women to feel like they should not prioritize female friendships. Okay, that's it for Mini Scroll today, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Please Spotify star rate us. I love you, and I will talk to you on Monday. Bye.